They're so loud. I want to kind of wait for them.
They're gonna keep going, though.
I guess.
Until they fuck.
Yeah, I guess.
Other special guest for this episode, the cicadas.
Welcome to Late to School, a Sailor Moon watchcast. I'm Lorena.
And I'm Zach.
And I forget what we do after this part.
I don't think we have an established thing. I did want to start with some corrections.
Okay.
Because I had some realizations. I talked about my anime credentials in the first episode, and I realized I had forgotten some major stuff. Specifically, I have watched several Hayao Miyazaki movies.
Right.
Since recording the first episode, I've actually seen Castle of Cagliostro, and before that, I had seen Spirited Away and Kiki's Delivery Service. And I think it's important to note, part of my reason for being so inexperienced with anime is actually that I was forced to watch Spirited Away when I was too young and stupid to understand it.
I think that's everyone's experience with Spirited Away, because that applies to me as well.
Okay.
I watched that movie when I was like 12 on Toonami, which is not a good time or place to watch that movie.
And I just thought that I hated anime from that point on. And then later, that same friend, when I was an adult, made me watch Kiki's Delivery Service.
Which is good.
And I fell in love, and it's the best. It's the best fucking movie. And now I like some anime. Right. I still need to rewatch Spirited Away, because I feel like it would be my shit now.
Yeah, same.
But anyway, this is about Sailor Moon.
Right. Today we are going to be talking about episodes 5 through 7. Starting with episode 5, Scent of a Monster, Chanela Will Steal Your Love, which was directed by Yuichi Endo, written by Shigeru Yanagikawa. It aired April 11th, 1992 in Japan, and never aired in English.
Really?
Yeah, this was cut entirely from the original dub.
Real quick, does Yuichi Endo have a brother named Ario?
You're a racist? I'm not gonna cut this because the people need to know. What is wrong with you?
Okay. For the record, in honor of this being an episode about cute pets, we have both our dogs in the room currently.
I am opposed to this. I want to state that I am a conscientious objector to this.
So if you hear some noises
that I can't edit out,
that's them. Really, you should be happy about this because I'm giving you an excuse to not edit them out.
Yeah, I guess, but it's gonna be a nightmare for the ears of the listeners.
It's just gonna be some bites.
Okay.
Some scrapes.
We start this episode with Usagi in the middle of a nightmare. She's being chased by some force.
Yeah, like a monster, I think.
Right.
But she's saved by Tuxedo Mask.
Right.
Who kills the monster with a rose.
Right.
And which he generally does not do.
No.
That's not really how that
It is
works
a dream.
Most of the time. That's true.
He then says that he'll always be there for Usagi. Also, I noticed something, not to get off track immediately, but I noticed that the Tuxedo Mask theme is just like a Spanish cover of the main theme.
Really?
The, opening.
Is it like Spanish guitar, is it like guitars, or is it
I don't remember.
Okay.
It might be I don't know. It's the same sort of what the kids call leitmotif.
Right, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, but Usagi is awakened from this dream, this nightmare/dream.
Yes.
I've never had a nightmare that ends well.
Yeah, me neither, I don't think.
But she's awakened by the sound of her brother Shingo screaming.
Yes.
Because Luna is sleeping in his bed.
Yes, and we find out that Shingo is scared of cats.
Yeah.
That he has a fear of cats. Usagi goes into his room and, yells at him for waking her up.
Yells at him for waking her up, and then, after she remembers that Shingo is afraid of cats, just sort of taunts him with Luna.
Yes.
Picks Luna up by the scruff of her neck
and kind of rubs her in his face.
Yeah.
Mom calls them to breakfast, and Usagi's family sort of talk about Luna.
Right, her dad remembers her from the last time he saw her.
Right. Usagi and Shingo. My notes are confusing here because I decided to start, for some reason, like, trying to shorthand things.
Okay.
So Usagi is you,
Okay.
and Shingo is Shin. It's gonna throw me off every time.
Usagi and Shingo kind of argue about... Usagi wants to keep Luna as a pet, and Shingo is like, no, fuck that, I hate cats.
Uh-huh.
And so they bicker over that.
Yes. Dad says that he'd be fine with keeping Luna.
Right.
And Mom says she wants the kids to work it out together.
Right.
Which the kids are not happy about.
No.
Because
and why would they
it's
be?
always best when adults just kind of decide things for you.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So then on the way to school, Usagi and Luna are walking together to school, and Usagi asks Luna why she was in Shingo's room in the first place. And Luna explains that she was so busy with work that she was tired and went into the wrong room by mistake.
There's a very good line here, which is Usagi asks Luna, oh, work? Is that like hunting mice? And Luna says, don't be ridiculous, I was searching for the moon princess. Which, I don't know if that's an intentional joke, but it's very funny.
It is very funny. And also, that is followed up by another funny thing where Usagi, for some reason, thinks she said moon pudding.
Yeah, I don't understand
maybe
that.
Usagi's just still hungry.
Yeah.
And Luna literally just says, no, you idiot, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Usagi and Luna part ways, and Usagi is like, hey, you should really look into making Shingo like you more.
Yes, so that she can keep her as a pet.
Right, and so Luna goes to a pet shop?
Yes, she goes to a pet shop to figure out how to get humans to like her.
And she sees a little girl... in the pet shop.
She's like playing with a kid.
She's playing with a kitten, and the kitten licks her, and Luna's like, ah, that's it.
Yeah,
I got
that's
it
the
now.
way. Licking. And then we cut to Geiger Hell. We get introduced to a new monster, Iguara.
Right,
which is mentioned by Jadeite.
We don't see her.
We don't see her at this point.
He does say her name.
And Beryl and Jadeite basically exposit how they steal energy from humans. This is a very weird scene. They're just kind of recapping the plot for people.
Which is, you know, kids might not be watching this week to week or day to day.
Yeah, that's fair. They explain they steal energy by using humans' desires and whims against them.
Right.
And that's basically it for that scene. Like, they just exposit that and they introduce Iguara.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to school. Usagi explaining to Naru that Shingo got bit by a neighbor cat as a kid.
Oh, right, and that's why he's afraid of cats.
Yes. And then fucking Melvin...
Melvin
comes in and says an alligator almost swallowed him whole as a toddler.
And it turns out it wasn't really an alligator, it was his mom's purse, which is made of alligator skin.
Well, or no, it was an alligator handbag, which is a specific, like, opening thing, I think. It's like, also, it's a snapping, it snaps together.
Okay, how big are those? Because he crawls into it entirely.
Yes. Either that's
he was a baby. He was a baby when it happened.
Well, he says toddler, but we see him crawl in, and he looks like a baby.
He still has the glasses?
He does still have the glasses. What if... Hang on, we need to consider a terrifying possibility.
Oh, no.
That those are just his eyes.
That's the worst thing you've ever said to me.
What if those are just Melvin's eyes?
I mean, I don't think we ever see him take them off, so, you know, there's nothing disproving your theory.
God, he's a humanoid abomination.
He really is.
We already knew that, though.
We did.
Anyway, at elementary school...
We cut from that to Shingo's school. It's letting out for the day. Luna is sort of stalking outside. Shingo walks by her. She jumps onto his shoulder.
Yes.
Licks
his face.
And he panics.
Yes. Can I say something actually here for the record about Luna? I like Luna again now.
Yeah.
It is really jarring looking back on Learn How to Be Skinny Like Usagi.
Right.
Because that is so out of character.
It really is.
For Luna. Like, that is so weird for Luna.
Yeah.
She's kind of a jerk sometimes in these episodes, but, like, she's really good in some of these episodes.
Yeah, I agree.
And I like her again. The list of Sailor Moon characters I like has been updated to Usagi and Luna.
Okay, still not Naru?
Yeah, Naru. I keep forgetting about Naru. I'm sorry. It's not fair to Naru for me to do that.
So then...
Shingo freaks the fuck out.
Right, Shingo freaks out and
sort of throws Luna off him.
A girl from his class who he seems to have a crush on of some sort.
Yes.
Approaches him and is like, Shingo, are you okay?
Mika, I believe.
Mika, yes.
Or Micah?
No, it was Mika.
Okay.
They walk home together, and Shingo starts talking about, like, he's not entirely opposed to having a pet at all, just a cat.
He's not into cats.
And so Mika is like, oh, I heard that there's a new pet shop that opened up.
It's called Perfume.
It's called Perfume. And so they go to the pet shop together.
At first I was like, why is it fucking called... What a fucking bizarre name for a pet shop.
Yeah.
But then we cut to the pet shop.
And Shingo points out that it smells like perfume.
Yes.
And that smell comes from these little, like, bunny...
Yeah, I compared them to chinchillas in my notes.
I guess that's fair.
They're very bunny-like, they're very chinchilla-like, they're very shaggy and furry.
And they apparently smell like perfume.
Yes, each one has a unique scent.
And Shingo and Mika start, like, looking at some, and,
then a lady comes by.
A lady comes by and is like...
explains that they have a...
Yeah.
Those are Chanelas.
Right. And the Chanela that Shingo is staring at fucking assumes direct control. And
just its eyes start glowing and Shingo becomes enraptured.
Right. And immediately Shingo decides that he's going to buy the Chanela, and the store clerk, who is Iguara.
Yes.
Is like...
she is an adult woman wearing makeup.
Right. She's like, oh, don't worry about the price. Just pay whatever you want.
Yeah. This is a pay what you can pet shop model.
And so Shingo and Mika both buy a Chanela.
Yes. It's not explained what they do pay Iguara.
No, I guess not. They're elementary school kids, so they probably have like 100 yen to their name.
Right. We get this weird scene where they're walking out of the store and there's like a stray dog looking through trash.
The dog tries to follow them.
But they're paying too much attention to the Chanelas, so...
So they don't pet it or interact with it at all. Yeah. It's very sad.
And we don't see that dog again, I don't
No, I think that scene is just to establish, like, the Chanelas are, like, enrapturing them.
Yes.
Completely.
And also, like, Store is not actually concerned about animals.
Right.
Which we do already know because there's an obvious monster running it, but...
Yeah.
Also, because the episode is titled Chanela Will Steal Your Love.
Right.
As they're talking about how much they love their Chanelas, we actually see the Chanela glowing, and then we cut to that one stock footage shot of Jadeite basically giving the middle finger.
I don't think that's what... Okay.
No, it's not intentional, but just him gathering the energy.
Right.
And then we cut to Usagi's house. Usagi laments that Luna couldn't get Shingo to like her.
Yeah.
And Luna says they don't need Luna to be their pet.
Right, but Usagi is determined.
Yes, Usagi berates her for giving up so easily.
Yeah.
Like saying, like, hey, you're the one who's always like, my mission is super fucking important.
And then Shingo arrives.
Yeah.
He opens the door to Usagi's room, and Usagi's like, oh, hey, what's that?
Luna tries to be friendly.
Right, Luna tries to be friendly with him, and Shingo is like, he kicks her.
He fucking kicks her across the room.
And
he kicks this cat.
He yells at Usagi, this Chanela is my pet. It's the only pet I'll ever need. Get rid of that stupid cat.
Yes.
And it's...
and Usagi falls to her knees crying because Shingo was so mean to Luna.
That's fair.
That's absolutely fair, yes. I really like this scene, actually, this whole episode, actually, because of how it depicts the emotions of the characters, which are very understandable and, like, interesting to me.
Yeah.
And Usagi crying because Shingo kicked her cat mentor is good.
Yeah, and her crying does drive Shingo out of the room.
Once again, crying saves the day.
Yeah.
And, oh, this part is so good, because then Luna sees that Usagi... You can't see this, because this is not a visual medium, but I am placing my hand over my heart right now. Luna sees that Usagi is crying and licks her hand to make her feel better, because she's learned that licking humans is how you get them to like you.
Yeah.
And she tries to lick her hand to make her feel better, and it just fucking warms my heart so much.
That unfortunately doesn't work. That doesn't make Usagi not sad. What does, though, is that her mom calls her down for tea.
Yes.
And then we see...
Usagi also says sorry to Luna that Shingo would act like that towards her.
Right. And then we see Usagi's family at tea.
Yes. This scene is wild.
Okay, this scene is wild because Shingo has brought his Chanela to tea.
Yes.
He has
Luna is also not like... She's not being held. She's not on the table.
Under the table drinking milk. And Usagi's dad is like, oh, Shingo, what's that you've got there? And Shingo explains that it's a Chanela, and he also says that Chanelas are good pets because you don't have to feed them.
Yes, and his dad responds, "Wow, that's one economical pet."
And it's the most dad thing any dad has ever said.
It's the most, like, it's like fucking Other Dad in Coraline, though. Like,
I've never seen it, sorry.
Okay. It's like a surreal version of, like, what a dad would say.
Sure, yeah.
It's such a bizarre... Why do you take him at face value on that?
I don't know why anyone would ever take that at face value. It's wild.
Their mom suggests keeping both pets, but Shingo is adamant
that he can only have the Chanela.
Yes.
And they can't keep Luna.
You got on me for saying Umino, but you do keep pronouncing Chanela. It's Chanela.
Okay, here's the thing. There was a pizza place where I used to live a couple years ago.
This has an explanation?
Called Chanello's Pizza. And every time, and it's very hard for me to say Chanela because I keep wanting to say Chanellos.
You know what? Fair.
Yeah.
That's valid.
Fucking don't step to the king if you don't want to get burned.
My bad. So Shingo just leaves T.
Right, yes.
He's done. He goes to hang out with his Chanela.
He's angry at the proposition that he could keep Luna at all.
Yes.
He runs back to his room. Usagi follows him?
No, actually. We cut to the next day after he gets to his room. And then Usagi is knocking on the door telling him he's gonna be late, which is very out of character for her.
Well, you know.
I guess there's gotta be some days where she's not late, right? Like,
yeah, we only see the days where she is. But
yeah,
that
well,
doesn't
except
matter.
for today.
Right.
And then Shingo says, "I'm staying home today."
Which is a mood, honestly.
Yes, fair. Usagi opens the door and sees him, like, staring at the Chanela and saying to the Chanela, "You and I are gonna be together forever."
And he's wasting away at this point.
Yes, we see his, like, sunken cheeks, and Usagi sees the Chanela glowing.
Right.
And that's when we cut to commercial. After the commercial break, we cut to Usagi's school, where we see all of her fellow students also have Chanelas.
Right.
And
it's
they're all
taken the Juban district by storm.
Yes, we see they are talking about their Chanelas and nothing else.
Right, yes.
When Miss Haruna arrives,
right,
they at first hide their Chanelas in their desk.
They hide their Chanelas in their desk. And as the lesson goes on,
some of the girls start quivering.
They start having withdrawal from their Chanela.
Yes.
And they're like, I gotta see my Chanela. Yes. I gotta see my pet.
They can't resist adoring their pet.
So they all take their Chanelas out of their desks and start staring at them.
Yes. Miss Haruna
turns around and is like, what the hell's going on?
And she sees a Chanela and she tries to take it, or tries to look at it, basically. Tries to figure out what the fuck it is.
Right.
And the student she's looking at the Chanela of just fucking, knocks her over.
Yeah.
And then every student that has a Chanela just, leaves the class.
Umino is like, Miss Haruna, are you okay?
The closest thing to a good thing Melvin has ever done.
Right.
Naru and Usagi discuss this.
Right.
After class. And Usagi decides to check out the pet shop.
Right.
Naru says she would, but she has cram school.
Yes.
Which I don't actually know what that is.
Okay.
But...
Okay. I don't know what it is either.
Okay.
So I'm not going to pretend that I do.
Okay.
I thought I did.
Okay.
It's like after school classes. It's extra lessons, I think.
Okay. So then we cut to perfume. Usagi is checking it out. Usagi sees Purple Pants and he's an asshole to her. Next.
Yeah.
Fucking next scene. It's really not worth it to talk about.
No.
I didn't even write down what they talk about.
There's another Purple Pants scene in a later episode that I think we should talk about, but this one is just kind of more of the same.
Yeah. Usagi goes inside the shop. Luna is also inside, which is interesting that they independently are checking out the store.
Yeah,
and tries to prevent Usagi from getting hypnotized.
Right.
Which Usagi is kind of a dumbass.
Yeah, and she just sort of stares at the Chanela.
Yes, and it assumes direct control, and she buys
a Chanela.
And Luna tries to get her to take it back, and Usagi threatens to kick her?
Yeah. She says, I'll give you a kick.
Yeah. Yes, which is a funny way to phrase that.
Yeah.
But it is still, like, that's a really fucked up bit.
Yeah.
Because, like, she was so upset about Luna getting kicked earlier.
Yeah.
And Luna is quite obviously genuinely hurt by this.
Yeah.
Which okay, again, learn how to be skinny from Usagi is just really out of character, where
Right.
Luna outright threatens to claw her face to pieces.
Yeah.
You could really just ignore that episode existing, and it would make more sense for Luna's character. Luna is genuinely hurt by this, but tells herself, I wrote this down, hang in there, it's not Usagi's fault she said that.
Yeah.
Which is so, like, understanding and good, and
Yeah.
I love her. Usagi ignores a girl who's crying after falling off her bike, and Luna licks her to make her feel better.
Yeah.
And at this point, Luna is like, okay, this is not Usagi.
Right.
She is kind of a klutz, but is kind-hearted. And then Luna decides to take action.
And she just sort of grabs the Chanela out of Usagi's arms.
Yes.
Jumps over a wall.
Yes.
And I guess just deposits it in a bush.
Either deposits it in a bush or kills it off-screen.
Yeah, unclear.
Yes.
It's not, I guess it wouldn't be out of character for Luna to just murder that thing.
Yes. It is a monster.
It is a monster.
Either it being killed or it being deposited away from Usagi does break Usagi out of the curse.
Right.
They are immediately like, ah, shit, Shingo.
Yeah.
Shingo's in trouble, so they run home.
And they burst into Shingo's room and
Yes.
see that he is still enraptured by his Chanela.
Yes. Usagi tries to take the Chanela away from him, but he fights her.
Right.
And Usagi actually outright slaps Shingo, which is a big moment. Like,
it's a very big moment.
Sound stops for a second, and like Usagi immediately is like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Which is, again, good.
Yeah.
And Shingo just runs off with the Chanela.
He runs off and knocks her over.
Yes. Luna gets Usagi to transform.
Right.
And then they go to the pet shop.
They go to Perfume.
We see Shingo is there and a bunch of other kids with Chanelas.
Yeah.
And Iguara is, like, releases a fucking waterfall of Chanelas from behind her.
Yeah.
And says, go forth and distribute these Chanelas throughout the town.
Yeah, she's like recruited these kids into a pyramid scheme now at this point.
You get one Chanela, and then you get another Chanela for 5 of your friends.
Right, yeah.
But then Sailor Moon shows up, and she gives her speech.
Okay, what is her speech this episode?
I'm really mad. How dare you use people's love of cute pets against them? I won't let you get away with treating people like this. And then, of course, the usual, I am Sailor Moon, and in the name of the moon, I'll punish you.
Right.
To which Iguara just responds, damn you.
You know, that's fair.
Which, I just put wow in my notes.
Yeah.
I think that's the first outright swear we've gotten.
I mean, I guess it depends on how you define the word hell.
Have they said hell?
Yeah, in the tarot episode.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about talking about the devil, yeah.
Yeah. Iguara turns into a very hot snake lady.
She's a blue lizard monster with a long prehensile tail, and also agree. The hypnotized kids also turn into lizards for some reason.
Yeah, that bit's weird. We haven't, I mean, like, I guess Umino and those other kids turned into zombies, and so did those ladies from the jewelry store, but we haven't seen a transformation to match the aesthetic of the monster to this point.
Yeah, no, the
It's
Chanelas turn them into lizards.
Yeah, it's very weird. Also, why is she a lizard if her scheme involves tiny bunnies?
Yeah, why couldn't they make her a monster bunny?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or very cute lizards.
Sailor Moon and Iguara fight.
Well, the hypnotized kids sort of run after Sailor Moon.
Yes.
I believe Sailor Moon at this point is like, this is usually the point where Tuxedo Mask shows up and saves me.
Yeah, and he doesn't.
And he does not in this episode. Which is interesting to me.
Yeah, and Luna is like, eventually you're gonna have to learn to fight for yourself.
Yes, and she tells Sailor Moon to fight the monsters, but, like, Sailor Moon is obviously concerned that, like, she doesn't want a Moon Tiara action Shingo.
Right.
So at this point, Luna teaches her Moon Tiara Stardust.
Yeah. Which, I don't think that ever comes up again.
Really?
Nope.
That's incredible.
If it does, I'm blanking on when it happens, and it's a minor thing, but yeah, she learns a new move that she never uses again. This scene is very awkward, actually, and I don't know if it's like this in the Japanese, but it feels very stilted. It feels like it exists entirely to set up this new move
Yeah.
that they didn't need to set up because they never use it again.
That they didn't need to set up because they never use it again, and also could have used before. Because what Moon Tiara Stardust does is the Moon Tiara goes forth like a frisbee, like it usually does, but it flies above the heads of the kids that have been transformed into lizard monsters.
And it cures them up there.
Yeah, it sprinkles stardust on them and cures them, which could have been super useful against, Morga and the fortune teller lady.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just Moon Tiara Stardust Umino?
No one cares if Umino gets hurt.
That's fair. And then, with the kids disenchanted, that's when Usagi fights Iguara.
Right.
And Luna spots a weak spot in her tail.
Yeah, which is... So, before Luna even says that, we do see the base of her tail glowing.
Yes,
Fucking video game.
Yeah, exactly. Weak points always glow. And Usagi Moon Tiara actions her in the tail for massive damage. She turns to dust, as monsters are wont to do.
As they are wont to do.
And so do all the Chanelas.
Right.
Which implies that the Chanelas are just an extension of Iguara.
Yeah.
And then we see Shingo tries to, runs up to get Sailor V's autograph.
Yeah,
He thinks that Sailor Moon is Sailor V.
And Usagi sort of just runs out of the store, trying to escape him.
Yes, she hides behind a car.
She's behind the car and Shingo, goes up to the other side
of the car.
And is like, Sailor V, I'm a big fan. Can I get your autograph? And Usagi says, I'm Sailor Moon, you know.
And Shingo's like, close enough.
Which is really good.
But then Sailor Moon
uses this opportunity to instill in Shingo
incept
that he should be nicer to Luna.
Yes. Proves that she knows Shingo's name by calling him that, and then explains that she's Sailor Moon and she knows everything.
Right.
And then our denouement is we see that happening.
Yeah, at breakfast the next morning. They're eating, and it's very similar to the actual opening of the episode. They're eating, and Shingo is just sort of feeding Luna off of his plate.
Yes.
Which is not a thing you should do with a pet, I'm just gonna say.
Especially not a cat. They got sensitive stomachs.
Yeah. Luna's an alien cat, but he doesn't know that.
That's true. Hey, spoilers.
It's not...
And then Usagi says, I don't know if this is any better.
Yeah.
And then the episode ends.
Yeah.
And it was a good episode.
Yeah. Next up is episode 6, Protect the Melody of Love. Usagi plays Cupid, which was directed by Kunihiko Ikehara, written by Katsuyuki Sumizawa. It aired April 18th, 1992 in Japan, and again, never in English. So the last 3 episodes, from Usagi Teaches You How to Be Skinny to this one, never aired in English for the Deke dub at all.
Why?
I guess I kind of understand why they did it for Usagi Teaches You How to Be Skinny.
Yeah.
Because it's a bad episode.
Right.
But Chanela Steals Your Love and the episode we're about to talk about don't have anything really objectionable.
Yeah, I
guess, Usagi hitting Shingo, maybe?
Maybe?
But
there's some, scary stuff in this next episode.
I guess.
But,
it's weird.
It is strange. And also, they can't complain about scary stuff because they had that Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island shit and put it in the opening.
We're just gonna keep to that's what that is? It's Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island?
Fuck you. It's a scary movie, and it reminded me of that, so...
Okay.
We open this episode on, a really cool shot of Geiger Hell. This, very colorful shot. And we hear, some music. And we see Beryl is listening to a tape recorder.
Yeah.
Which is playing on the inside of her orb.
Mm-hmm. It is a tape recorder. This is a tape deck that she's listening to in Geiger Hell, in the Negaverse.
Yes. Which she is playing on her orb. Or through her orb.
Right.
We see Jadeite as well. He's there, and the whole crowd of monster people.
And Jadeite is sort of explaining that this is a, energy-draining song.
Yeah, we see that happening, actually. We see they have a potted plant of roses.
Right.
Which I feel is important. And we see the roses just wither and die as this music is playing. And Beryl is like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, she's very enthusiastic about this.
Also, for the record, when we see the close-ups of the tape deck in the orb, there's bubbles.
Bubbles?
We see bubbles in the orb. Then when they take the tape deck out of the orb, it, ripples.
Huh.
So, the orb is water?
I guess. or some sort of liquid.
Yeah.
We cut from that scene to Usagi and Naru also listening to music.
Specifically jazz.
Okay. This scene is very good.
Yes.
Because Usagi and Naru
Exceedingly
are
good.
like laying on their bellies on the floor of Naru's room.
Yes.
And they're listening to this like kind of soulful piano song.
Yes.
And
Can I explain this? Because I'm
please.
very excited.
Please do.
Usagi compliments Naru on being so mature for listening to jazz.
Usagi specifically says, so this is jazz. Which is a very good line.
Yes. And then Naru says, if Usagi has any questions, just ask. And Usagi gives a very gay, if you say so. And it's very good. And I'm sure the show doesn't ship them, but I do.
Okay, fair enough.
We zoom in on the CD that they're listening to. They talked for a bit about, they're listening to Yusuke Amada?
Right.
Or Amade?
I think it's Yusuke Amade.
Okay. It took me so fucking long to figure out he's probably called Amade because it's like Amadeus.
Probably. Yeah, I didn't figure that out at all.
We zoom in on the cover of the CD as they're talking about it, and then it transitions to Yusuke himself.
So Yusuke is voiced by the same guy as Usagi's dad.
Really?
He is also Keith Silverstein.
Huh.
Yeah, which is very weird because he doesn't like use very distinctive voices for either character. They both just kind of sound like him.
Well, I didn't notice it.
I'm very used to his voice.
Okay, fair. And we see Yusuke talking to himself about he's going to tell her how he feels.
Yeah.
And he's entering
He's sort of standing in the rain.
And we see him entering a music recording studio. We actually, we saw this character a little bit earlier, but we kind of skipped over her. We see Jadeite's new monster.
Right, yes.
Who is, they only say her name like once. I think it's Kiruni.
I think that's right.
I don't know how that's spelled. I have it spelled some sort of way in my notes. We see Kiruni as a swarm of bats, and she flies into the recording studio. She's about to put the tape, the magic cursed tape that drains energy. She's about to put it into the, like, recording machine. I don't know how music works.
It's like a mixer.
Okay. And she's explaining to herself, I guess, or to the audience.
Yeah, to the audience.
That when she does this, it will infect all of the music.
Right.
Like a virus. All of the music recorded at this station. And she's about to put it in the machine, but a woman enters, and she hides. Kiruni hides, and, like, we see her claws grow super long.
Her, like, nails turn into knives.
Yes. And we see she's about to kill this woman, but the woman gets distracted by a guy she works with.
Right.
And she takes the tape out of the machine.
Right.
Thinking that it's a different tape.
It's like a demo from a recording they did earlier.
Yes. And she leaves before Kiruni can jump out of the shadows to murder her.
Yeah. And
this woman, who we learn is named Akiko, visits Yusuke. She's the woman Yusuke was talking about.
Right.
And we see her with Yusuke in the sort of the lobby of that studio. She gives him back the tape, the wrong tape.
So Yusuke had given her a tape before all this happened.
This is a little complex, yeah.
It was clearly a love tape.
Yes, it was titled A Waltz for Akiko.
Right. So Akiko gives him back the, like, evil tape.
Yes, by mistake. Because she thinks it's the demo he recorded earlier.
And she says something that causes Yusuke to be like, you would have known if you had looked at the title.
She says to think of a good title for it.
Yeah.
And he says to himself, as she's, like, leaving, she goes back to work, if you had paid attention, you would have seen that it already has a title.
Yeah.
And we see the case that says A Waltz for Akiko. Which is written in English, I noted.
Yeah. Yusuke kind of toes a very thin line in this episode between nice guy and, like, actual nice guy, I guess.
Yes, yeah, he seems harmless to me.
But some of his, like, internal monologue is
a little judgmental.
Yeah,
that's fair. We cut back to Naru and Usagi walking home in the rain.
Yeah.
They split up, and Usagi wants to go into the arcade.
Right.
Which Luna tries to persuade her not to, because it's a school night.
Can I say, this scene has, like, a very, like, watching this scene, I had, like, this weird sort of kind of synesthesia, I guess. The way that the background art is done, and the way that the rain is sort of, and we see, like, the lights from the arcade.
Right.
It was very good at conveying a specific mood to me.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite episodes.
It's very good. I like it a lot.
Of the group.
So Usagi is pondering going into the arcade, and Luna's
Yes.
trying to convince her not to.
When a man
mhm.
who is Yusuke runs into her.
Yeah.
Basically, we see him running across the sidewalk, and before Usagi can enter the arcade, he just collides into her.
Yeah.
And knocks her over, and gets all wet. In the rain, and she's very upset and sort of growls at him.
He apologizes.
First of all, he's terrified because he's terrified of her.
He's scared of something.
And Usagi's like, wait, I'm not gonna kill you or anything. Like, it's fine. It's no big deal. And then we cut to them sort of like walking together. As Yusuke is explaining why he was running. Right.
Which is that he had been chased.
Yes, we see a flashback to Yusuke walking down an alley, and we see Kiruni, the monster lady, at the end of the alley with a bunch of bats behind her.
Yeah.
And then more bats.
We sort of see her in silhouette, right?
I think so. We can kind of see her features, but she's, like, darkened.
Yeah.
And we see her with a bunch of bats, and more bats, and we keep cutting between her and Yusuke as she just gathers more bats around her. And then eventually she is covered in a swarm of bats.
Right.
And we see, like, her shadow against, like, the shadow of this swarm of bats against Yusuke. And we see the shadow transform into a giant bat shadow with glowing eyes on the shadow. That's not how that would work, but that's
whatever.
fine.
It's artistic license.
And Yusuke runs the fuck away.
Yeah, as most people would do, I imagine.
Yeah, given a lady and a swarm of bats transforming into a giant bat. Yeah.
And so we cut back to the present, and Usagi and Luna are like, that sounds weird.
Yusuke, though, has at this point already convinced himself it was some kind of dream or hallucination. Yeah. And then he realizes he's late for a gig.
Right.
At a jazz club.
Yeah, okay,
which he says. He's about to leave, and he's like, oh shit, you're dry cleaning. I want to pay for your dry cleaning because I feel bad about knocking you into the rain. I don't have any money on me right now, but here's my card with my number on it. Right. And that's when Usagi sees his card and sees that his name is Yusuke Amade. Right.
As he's sort of running away, she yells, hey, you're Yusuke Amade! And he's like, don't worry about it.
Usagi's pretty excited that she got to meet Yusuke Amade, who Naru was very sort of crushing after in their discussion with him. Or with him? Their discussion about him. But Luna's like, hey, focus on the fact that he definitely saw a monster and might still be after him.
We should protect him.
Yes.
Which Usagi is on board for because she just wants to hang out with Yusuke some more.
Yes, she says, you're right, we should protect him. Plus, it'll be a great chance to get a peek into the grown-up world.
Yeah.
Which, at this point, I realize, like, I think it's important to note, between, like, Usagi complimenting Naru on how mature she is for listening to jazz, and then this line, it's, like, I thought this episode was going to be about love, but it's really not. It's about growing up, and, like, maturity, and
it's about adulthood, essentially. Yes. There is a romantic subplot, but it's in service to the sort of themes of adulthood and maturity.
Yeah, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, and so Usagi and Luna go to the jazz club.
Yes, there's a cut here to a different scene, which is Kiruni in a junkyard.
Okay, yeah.
This scene is weird.
Yeah, she's sort of standing in front of a pile of discarded televisions.
Yes, on which we see Jadeite.
And he is talking to her and, like, asking for a status update.
Yes, this is some Persona shit. He's talking to her through these fucking TVs.
And she's explaining that she lost the tape and all that.
Jadeite berates her.
And says that if she doesn't get the tape back, he'll destroy her.
Yes. And Kiruni sounds genuinely afraid.
Yeah.
Which is upsetting. And then we get a commercial break. And when we come back, Usagi and Luna are going to the jazz club.
Right. Usagi can't get in because she's a child.
She's a child.
And Luna just sort of teases her about that. She's like, you're not old enough to go in there. And Usagi says, well, maybe I could be, and
Uh-huh.
pulls out her disguise pen.
Yes, which I'm glad they remembered this one
Mhm.
existed.
Did you write down what specifically she says
Yes,
to turn into?
It's moon power, turn me into a hot musician.
Right. She turns into this, like, sort of punk.
Yes.
So, in her previous use of the disguise pen, she just kind of looked like herself with shorter hair.
Yes, and as an adult with a different
Right.
outfit.
In this one, her hair turns green.
Yes, like black with green streaks.
Right.
And she has like this cool red jacket.
Uh-huh.
And
her
like,
hair is very wild. She looks like a fucking porcupine.
Yes. She's got this midriff bearing top and a skirt.
Yeah.
I think. Or pants? I can't remember now.
And so she goes into the jazz club.
Yeah,
disguised.
so important to note here, they also wouldn't let a cat into the jazz club. So,
right.
So Usagi wears Luna as neckwear.
Yeah. So they go in,
Mm-hmm.
and they take a seat and sort of start watching Yusuke's performance.
Yusuke's at the piano. He's playing the song.
Mm-hmm. And a waiter comes up to them
This
and
is a great scene.
asks Usagi what she wants to drink.
Uh-huh.
And Usagi's like, can I get a soda float?
Uh-huh. Which scandalizes the waiter and the cat.
He's like, oh, we don't have that here because this is an adult club, I guess.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And Usagi is like, oh, that's fine, I'll just have some water, which also scandalizes
Yes, that
them.
scandalizes him more so.
Yeah, which is wild to me.
Yes. That part is like, nobody has ever not ordered alcohol in this part
I guess
of this
not.
establishment. And then Usagi and Luna watch Yusuke playing the piano. Usagi says Yusuke looks pretty cute while playing piano for an old guy. And I don't know how old Yusuke is supposed to be.
I mean, he's way older than her, definitely.
Yes.
He's probably
like 40?
Yeah, like 30s or 40s. He's a successful enough jazz musician that people have, like, heard of him. That this teenager has heard of him.
Yes. And Usagi and Luna both doze off while listening to the music.
Yeah.
And then they wake up when he stops playing, and Luna's like, hey, wake the fuck up. He's gone. We need to find him.
Yeah.
Yusuke's gone into the parking garage. I fucking love this scene. We see some bats flying around a light fixture. He's waiting for the elevator, and then the elevator door opens, and it's fucking red inside.
Yeah.
And there's Kuruni, along with a swarm of bats.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a cut, and we hear him scream off screen.
Right.
And Usagi and Luna, Usagi, whose disguise is gone.
Yeah.
We see her just running through the building as Usagi.
Right.
She and Luna hear his screaming and follow it, and we cut back to the garage, and Kuruni has taken the tape back from Yusuke.
And has sort of, like, knocked him unconscious.
Yes, and is about to kill him.
Is about to kill him.
When Usagi shows up, and that makes her leave for some reason.
Yeah.
She transforms into her full monster form.
Right.
Which is maybe, I think, one of the coolest in the show so far.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I could agree with that.
She's a bat lady with these big, massive ears and all this, like, red hair.
Yeah.
She's very cool looking, and she flies away. And Usagi wakes up Yusuke, and Yusuke realizes the tape is gone. And he's officially no longer scared of this fucking monster.
No.
He's just fucking mad. And we see them in a car. Yusuke is driving after Kuruni very recklessly.
Yes.
And Usagi is kind of upset about that. They have a discussion in the car, which is a really nice discussion. I really like this scene too. Again, this is just a very good episode, I think. Usagi practically spells out that she's a superhero, but Yusuke doesn't catch on.
No, he's too focused.
Yes. She explains that she's the pretty guardian of love and justice. And also is very grown up. The rain has stopped, so without the cloud cover, they're able to see the monster and follow her. And they find that she has landed on the roof of the music recording studio that Akiko works at, which is bad news.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And we cut to the interior where bats are flying completely uselessly around a bunch of knocked out civilians.
Yeah.
Including Akiko. They're just kind of hovering nearby, and it's very silly.
Maybe those bats are keeping them knocked out? I don't know.
Somehow, yeah. They're drug bats, you know.
Yeah, you know, drug bats.
Drug bats.
Everyone knows about drug bats.
We used them in the war.
Yeah.
What war? Don't worry about it.
Uh-huh.
And Kiruni tries to put the tape back in the machine. Again, she is back at square one as far as she's concerned.
Yes.
Also, realization, why'd they need a monster for this job? Why didn't Jadeite just put the fucking...
It's weird, because, like, so far the only episode where Jadeite has gotten directly involved is the gym episode.
Yeah.
And even that, he didn't have good reason to do that.
No.
He could have had a monster do that for him.
It's weird. Like, I thought that was implying, like, he's gonna start directly getting involved more.
No.
And we see that maybe some next episode, but...
A little bit, I guess, yeah.
But that's when Yusuke, Usagi, and Luna arrive. Luna jumps and knocks the fucking tape out of Kiruni's hand.
Uh-huh.
Which, again, this is a very good episode for Luna just doing cool shit.
Yeah.
Like, last episode was good for Luna as a character, but this episode is good for, like, Luna being a superhero cat.
Right.
Usagi grabs the tape. When she gets the tape close enough to Yusuke realizes that it's not the right tape.
Right.
It's not actually his demo tape. And then Kiruni shapeshifts again.
Yeah, she had turned back into her human form.
I guess to sneak in?
I guess,
that
but then
makes
she
sense.
just knocked everyone out, so...
Yeah, that's true. So, now that the tape is out of her hands, Kirune is like, well, fuck this, and grabs Akiko, who wakes up.
Who does wake up at this point, and she sort of threatens Akiko.
With her claws. She holds her ransom, basically.
Can I say, this is just the most banal thing I've ever said. It's really weird that she's a bat monster and has big ol' claws.
Yeah, she has more bat-themed powers that we see, like, once later, which is weird.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, she just has really long claws. I really like the monsters in general for how weird they are.
I agree. It's just a weird combination of things.
Yes. She's also probably the hottest monster for having the bat wings and the very long claws.
Yeah, that's okay.
You got to say shit about Iguara.
I know.
Basically, Kiruni holds Akiko hostage and says that if they don't give her the tape, she'll kill her.
Right.
So Usagi throws the tape at her.
Which causes her to sort of panic.
Yes. Kiruni tries to reach up to... We get this really kind of weird, like, slow-motion action sequence where a lot of things are happening at once. Kiruni is reaching up to grab the tape.
Yusuke is jumping to grab Akiko.
Yes. And simultaneously, we see, at the last second, Luna has jumped up and grabbed the tape in her mouth.
Right.
Before Kiruni can get it. But also, Yusuke has pulled Akiko away from Kiruni.
Yeah.
And it is a really cool scene. I do like that scene a lot. So Kiruni at this point is entirely like, fuck this, and just flies out of a window. Usagi at this point transforms. Also, I didn't note this down, but I do want to point out there are several moments here where Luna just talks right in front of Yusuke.
Yeah, it's fine. He's really frazzled.
That's fair. He also did think he was hallucinating the bat monster following him earlier, so... But Usagi transforms into Sailor Moon
and follows Kirune.
Yes. Kirune lands at, like, an outdoor theater.
Yeah.
And Usagi is already on stage?
Yeah. Okay. This is maybe my favorite speech that she gives.
Yes. I did write this one down as well.
Good.
It's actually, I noted this, her speech here is actually different from the speech she gives in the preview prologue, which is usually the same speech.
Right. But here it's...
I won't let you use beautiful music for your evil plot. I bet that Haydn, the father of music, would be really mad too.
Which causes Luna to correct her.
Yes.
And say that no, Bach is the father of music.
And Usagi says, don't be a know-it-all, you're making me look bad. Anyway, and now in the name of the moon I'll punish you.
It's very good.
Yes. I don't even know who Haydn is.
I don't know who he is specifically, but I do know that he is apparently called Papa Haydn.
Okay, that's a good nickname.
Yeah.
So, Kiruni demonstrates a new ability, which is she can fire ultrasonic waves from her wings.
Yeah.
I should note at this point, like, this is actually themed to the episode a little bit, because Jadeite explained earlier that, like, the reason the tape can, like, drain people's energy is subliminal ultrasonic waves.
Yeah.
Which is not what that word means, but, you know. But Kiruni can fire ultrasonic waves from her wings. Usagi puts two and two together.
Yeah.
And does a really cool thing.
Yes, so she, like, Kirune fires one of her, like, ultrasonic blasts, and Usagi takes the microphone from the stage.
Yes.
Turns it on, records Kirune's blast.
Yes, she throws the microphone into
yeah.
the beam of ultrasonic waves.
Which causes the, amps to blast those back at Kirune.
Yes, which stuns
is very
her.
Good.
Yes, stuns her long enough to get Moon Tiara action to death.
Yeah.
Which was actually kind of sad for me, because Kirune is the only monster.
She had, a couple moments of sympathy.
Yeah.
Also, she just kept fucking up this whole episode, and I feel a little bad about that.
Yeah, And then we see, back in the studio, Akiko and Yusuke have a very sort of, what I noted down as an intimate Monster Hearts healing scene.
Okay.
Because that's how healing works in the game Monster Hearts, where Akiko is patching up Yusuke, and Yusuke expresses his feelings for Akiko.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's pretty sweet, and Usagi is listening from behind a corner.
Uh-huh.
She's basically internally monologues about how lucky Akiko is to have Yusuke, to have someone who will, do anything for her.
Also, I should note, this is the second episode in a row that Tuxedo Mask has not appeared.
Yes!
Also, Purple Pleated Pants, not in this episode
Purple Pants
at all.
wasn't in this episode at all. So those are two completely different and unrelated
right, yeah. Uh-huh.
Sort of pattern twists.
Uh-huh.
That's only a pattern twist for this episode, though, for Purple Pants, because he was in the last one.
He was in the last one, and he
But Tuxedo Mask was not.
No.
And then we cut back. It's a nebulous amount of time later.
Uh-huh.
And Naru is very dejected. They're back again. This is sort of a there and back again thing. Where,
They're back in Naru's room.
Yes.
Listening to another
Yusuke.
a new Yusuke song.
Yes. Naru is very dejected. And says, "Did you hear what happened? It's so horrible. Yusuke Amade got married." And Usagi is like, "Yeah, I heard about that." And this is the part where I noted down in all caps, "Wait, is his name Amade because Amadeus?"
Great, cool. And Usagi very knowingly says that she heard about that, and we see the title of the song they're listening to.
Yes, we see the cover of the CD, which has Sailor Moon's silhouette on, a crescent moon. And it is titled Moonlight Lady, and it says, "Dedicated to the young lady who fights for justice." Which
is very sweet and cute.
Yes, that is I love that ending. I love that episode a lot in general.
Yeah.
That was a very good episode. I like that, there's just a guy who knows about Sailor Moon now, but he's just kind of unrelated to the plot.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a nice dude who isn't going to cause problems for Usagi.
No. So the next episode, episode 7, is Usagi learns her lesson. Becoming a star is hard work.
For the record, you can tell all of these episodes are good ones because they all have colons in them.
Yeah, true. This was directed by Junichi Sato, written by Shigeru Yanagikawa, aired April 25th, 1992 in Japan, and September 14th, 1995 in English.
When we opened this episode, Usagi is late to school.
Again.
But is worried that if she runs to school, she'll be too tired to study, which is very relatable.
She kind of takes a break in front of a poster for this, I guess she's an idol?
Yes, I wanted to ask you about this, actually. Her name is Mikan something. They mostly just call her Mikan, so. I wanted to ask, is this the same celebrity that we see on the gym? In the gym episode?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think these are two separate celebrities.
Okay.
But yeah, Mikan is just kind of... Usagi stops in front of this poster and is talking about this celebrity.
Yes. The poster is on... I don't remember where it's from, on a drugstore or something?
I think so.
And it says, "Feeling exhausted? Try this energy booster."
Yeah.
Which, first of all, never comes up again in this episode.
No, I mean, it's just kind of there to establish that this girl is relevant to the plot. Mikan is just generically famous, I guess. It's unclear what she does.
She's been in a lot of commercials, we learn later. It's just also, it's funny to me that, the poster is so relevant to Usagi's current problems.
Yeah. As Usagi is staring at this poster, we see Naru running.
Yes.
And she is also late to school. She sees
kindred spirits.
She sees Usagi, runs past her, hits Usagi in the back of the head with her bookcase, and keeps running, and Usagi is like, "Hey, why'd you do that?" And Naru says, "You're gonna be late."
Yes.
Which, I want to say, I investigated the Japanese version of this episode for reasons we'll get to in a bit. Naru does not say anything as she's running away in the Japanese version.
Really?
They added that in this dub.
I really like that line, though. It's a really good addition.
She's just stone cold in Japanese, I guess.
She just, doesn't care. She either, did it by accident, in the
Mhm.
Japanese dub, or like you said, she's just fucking stone cold. She did want to get Usagi, but she's just stone cold.
So we cut to school.
Yes,
They've arrived.
They're talking about Mikan, I believe.
Yeah. Fucking Melvin comes up, and he brought a poster he got to school of Mikan.
It's the same poster that Usagi saw.
And she is suspicious and is like, hey, did you steal that, you fucking creepy gremlin?
But Melvin assures her that he bought it off the internet, which he describes as it's a series of tubes that connects people's computers.
Yeah, he feels the need to explain what the internet is.
Yes.
Now, here's the reason I investigated the
I'm
Japanese.
so happy this is the reason I was thinking about this.
He doesn't explain it. He just says, I got it off the internet. I have several more at home.
God. Did they add a fucking meme?
They added a meme.
They added the series of tubes meme?
Yes.
Maybe when that dub was made, that meme was still a thing.
This dub was made in 2014.
Okay, that meme probably would have roughly been still a
also,
thing
it could. So obviously they're making a meme joke. It could also be that the dub writers have such a fucking read on Melvin that they're like, oh yeah, of course he would feel the need to explain what the internet is to these girls.
That, and he would also use a meme to do it.
He would also use a meme that
I fucking hate that kid.
That didn't exist in 1992.
No. Oh, man. And then fucking Melvin just talks about Mikan. She's been in 8 commercials.
Yeah.
She makes like 2 million yen a day or some shit.
Which is $2,000?
I can't remember if he said day or year.
Actually, that might be $200,000. Either way.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And
especially
the kids
given
are very impressed.
She's 17.
Yeah. She's from Juban, also.
Right. The important information that he actually relays in this scene is that she graduated from the same middle school as all of them.
Yes. Melvin is a dick to girls talking about...
Yeah, there are a bunch of girls who are like, we tried auditioning for stuff, but all the directors were like, we're not good enough. Mm-hmm. They must be blind. Mm-hmm. And then Melvin is like, oh, clearly they can see all too well. Which he very definitely thinks is maybe just the best line he's ever said.
And then he's like, I predict
that the next famous person from this school will be Usagi Tsukino.
Which befuddles the other girls,
but makes Usagi very excited.
Yeah. I love that the other girls are just like, this schmuck? Really? And then there's a cut to a TV studio.
Right.
That is advertised. I had to pause this to read the subtitles for the Japanese text.
Okay.
But is advertising, I guess a show called Rock, Paper, Scissors with Mikan.
Okay.
And we don't get an explanation for what that is. There's a crowd of people getting Mikan's autograph, and we see Jadeite in his fucking fedora and, like, trench coat and glasses.
Incognito gear.
Yeah. And he's like, I can use this energy. Mm-hmm. And then that's it for that scene.
That's it for that scene.
And then I believe we're in Usagi's house. We cut to Usagi's house, and Naru and Usagi are hanging out together. Mm-hmm. And they have a discussion. And this is the point I realized something that I may just blow your mind.
Okay.
Usagi and Naru are just Peach and Daisy.
Huh.
Naru in this scene in particular is wearing like this green and orange outfit.
Yeah. Usagi and Naru are both wearing very good, like, casual outfits.
Yes.
Like, not their school uniforms.
And I just, like, Naru's got the short reddish brown hair. Usagi's got long blonde hair. And the blue eyes.
Yeah.
And they're just Peach and Daisy.
Wow. All I can say is wow.
Because it's stupid and there's no way to follow that up? Or
yes.
Okay.
Well, there's no way to follow that up.
Anyway.
They're sort of brainstorming a performance.
Yes, Naru proposes that she and Usagi should sing together.
Right.
To become stars. Usagi, on hearing that, for some reason, goes to her closet and grabs a tennis racket.
Yeah, well, Naru says that they're going to take the entertainment world by storm. Or something like that.
Yeah, and charge the entertainment world.
Right, which causes Usagi to grab a racket. And I don't know, maybe there's some pun there in Japanese that couldn't be translated?
Yeah.
Or I'm not sure.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that at all.
It's very weird.
There's some other, like, things I just don't get in this episode.
Like, for example, they start talking about how they're going to become stars, like Cinderella.
Yeah, Cinderella.
Yeah.
Famous singer.
Uh-huh. They then start...
They then start practicing singing to a song that apparently has lyrics in English, but doesn't have, like, sung lyrics in the music. It's like they're listening to the karaoke version.
Right, they're listening to the karaoke version of Moonlight Legend.
Yes,
the theme to Sailor Moon.
It's the fucking theme song, and I noted this down. I can only imagine that they're listening to that Yusuke Amade CD.
Maybe.
I love the idea that, like, that song is an in-universe, like, Yusuke Amade song that is about Sailor Moon.
Uh-huh. This scene is very awkward because they're singing English lyrics.
Yes.
That
are not the Deke Dub lyrics.
Not the Deke Dub lyrics, and they don't really scan.
No, there's some parts where they kind of sound right. But...
Yeah, they're a very literal translation.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they had worked a little harder at making that sound better.
Mm-hmm.
But they're very bad.
They're bad singers, and they keep knocking into each other.
Right. Their sort of ruckus causes Shingo to storm into the room and be like, hey, keep it down.
Yeah, stop that screeching, I believe he says.
Usagi responds to by saying, we're the future stars of the world. You're going to ruin us.
But they keep stepping on each other's feet and shit. And they get mad at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they immediately sort of break up the band.
Yeah. Yes.
They start trying to work on their own separate acts.
But
they don't both just do, like, a solo singing act for some reason.
Naru adopts the singing act.
Yes, we'll see that later. But there's a scene with, like, Usagi's whole family in their living room. They're watching TV.
Yeah.
Usagi's not really paying attention. She's brainstorming.
They're watching, like, this sort of talent show.
Yeah.
It's like public access TV, I guess.
They see there's a guy with a monkey who is like, are you sorry? And the monkey, like, puts his hand. It's hard to demonstrate this in an audio medium because I just put my hand up to try to demonstrate
the
this.
Monkey, like, puts his hand up on a, like,
on
block.
his leg. Yeah, I think just hangs his head low.
Mm-hmm.
Usagi's dad is like, I bet you could do something like that, Luna. And Luna's just like, meow.
But Usagi is inspired.
Yes. And immediately starts trying to train Luna
to do that.
To do that specific move.
Which doesn't require much training because Luna is sapient.
Yes, and can talk. And can understand English. But Luna is very upset at how sort of humiliating this is.
We cut from that to Umino.
Yes.
Melvin.
Goryo Umino.
Yeah, so
he establishes himself as Goryo Umino.
Yes, we have established that Goryo is his first name now.
Yes, because Usagi says Usagi Tsukino.
Right. So we know that's the order they're going with. He, like, rings the doorbell to Naru's home.
Yes.
And is like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, he very awkwardly is, like, talking to Naru's parents. Like, I am Goryo Umino. Your daughter Naru invited me over. Can I come in? And Naru opens the door and is just like, get the fuck in, you fucking tool.
And so we get a very...
a strange scene. I don't fully understand
Naru has made up Melvin.
Yes, she's put him in lipstick.
She's put him in, like, drag.
A salmon dress.
Yeah. Well, it's, like, kind of a salmon, like, business jacket.
Yes, it's a...
And, like, long dress.
Yeah, long skirt. Which they don't really... Like, they don't comment on that.
No,
like, they don't actually say, like, I am putting you in girl's clothes. And Umino never puts that together. He's just like, okay.
I mean, Umino is very awkward about this. He's, like, very uncomfortable with what Naru has made him do. And Naru does describe what she's planning as a Beauty and the Beast routine.
Yes, which is quite rude.
This scene is very bad. I don't care for it.
Yeah.
I don't care for Naru's whole scheme.
Yeah. But Naru gets him to be on board by saying that Usagi told her she would be more attracted to Melvin if he was better at socializing with people. Which is not what singing... No. I don't understand. Naru's plan makes no sense.
I mean, Melvin is a dumbass and buys it.
Yes. And also starts doing a weird voice. He sounds like Meowth from the Pokemon anime.
Yeah, he puts on kind of a Meowth voice.
And I don't know why.
I don't know either.
But anyway.
I did not investigate the Japanese to see what was going on there for this episode.
I worry that he was, like, putting on, like, a very effeminate voice.
I mean, that's clear. That is clearly what he's doing.
It doesn't sound super effeminate, though, to me. I think just because I keep thinking of Meowth.
He sounds like what if Meowth was a mom.
Okay.
That's what he sounds like to me.
So Meowth.
Yeah.
So we get a cut to entirely different scene.
Right.
We see Mikan in the shower.
Yes.
And she gets horror movied.
Yeah, there's the monster who we aren't given a name for this monster in this episode, I don't think.
I don't think so.
And we have not seen it up to this point.
Yes.
So this monster apparently doesn't have a human form, or I don't know why it does this, but it sort of ensnares Mikan in glass.
We later learn this is like glass, but it looks like webbing. Like toothpaste colored webbing.
Yeah.
So I guess it's fiberglass.
I guess.
Which is a bad thing to be wrapped up in.
Yeah.
While naked.
Yeah, the monster just sort of ensnares her and she falls unconscious.
Yes, and the monster touches her hand and takes her form.
Right.
Which might also imply that happens to with the other monster. Because, I mean, we do have at least one example of a monster taking the form of another person, which is Morga, took the form of Naru's mom.
Yes, that is true.
So maybe this is just how they do it all the time.
Maybe.
At this point, we see Jadeite, actually, in a disguise. Jadeite and the fake Mikan are advertising the Cinderella Caravan.
Yeah.
Which is a talent contest.
Yeah.
Again, Cinderella.
Yeah.
Well known for talent.
Yeah.
For, performance.
So, apparently in the German dub, they changed Cinderella to Snow White, which doesn't change anything.
It doesn't change anything.
I don't know why they made that change.
Like, the Disney versions both sing,
I guess. I don't understand what the thing is here with Cinderella or Snow White.
I think the thing is supposed to be just, like, changing your life.
I guess.
Like, getting yourself into a position of power or prestige.
Yeah, I guess maybe that
like
could be
Cinderella going from a slave to a princess.
Right.
And we see them advertising this, and, like, Mikan is like, you can be a star! And there's, like, a crowd of girls surrounding this caravan stage thing.
Right.
And we see there's, like, a satellite dish on top of the caravan that is emitting some, like, hypno shit.
That is making all the girls in the crowd, and also some boys, I think, be like, hey, we want to be stars.
Yeah.
They become infected with a thirst for stardom.
Yes. This is, again, a really weird, I don't know what energy is being stolen in this episode.
I don't know.
But Usagi learns about the Cinderella Caravan at school. Naru taunts her about not knowing it, because they're in a tiff right now. Melvin shows up again.
They're in, like, the hallway. They're in, like, the stairwell.
Yeah. And they're talking about the Cinderella Caravan contest, and Usagi's very excited, because she can do her performance with Luna. And then fucking Melvin shows up, and Naru is like, hey, Umino and I are also working on a thing. Right, Umino?
And he does his Meowth voice.
He does his Meowth voice and calls her girlfriend. And Naru is embarrassed.
Yeah.
She should be just for talking to Umino.
Yeah,
embarrassed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we cut back to the Cinderella Caravan. We see the girls are still hypnotized. People are still getting hypnotized. We see a cop and, like, Mikan's agent get hypnotized.
They join the crowd and are like, hey, what's going on? And they also get hypnotized.
And they are immediately, like, the cop tries to do a handstand. The agent just starts making weird poses. I think his talent is supposed to be yoga, but that's not a talent, so...
No.
That's a weird sort of brief scene that immediately goes away. And then Usagi and Luna, we cut to them walking along the sidewalk. They're going to the caravan. Usagi and Luna are walking along the sidewalk, going to the Cinderella Caravan to perform.
Right. And Luna is kind of like, hey, this is stupid.
Yeah, she doesn't start with this is stupid, but she is very dejected and is, like, immediately, like, she says she doesn't want to do this.
Yeah. Given that Usagi has kind of literally turned her into a dancing monkey.
Yes.
Fair.
Uh-huh.
You know what? Fair.
Fair. Usagi and Luna argue.
Mm-hmm.
Luna basically tells her that this is stupid, like you said, and, like, she has a very important mission that she should be focusing on.
Which causes Usagi to cry and
Usagi,
run away.
Yes.
And as she's running away, in the distance, she spots Purple Pleated Pants.
Yes.
And
he
she's like,
sees her, and
he sees her, and she's like, "Oh God, I don't want to deal with him."
yeah,
And
she tries to hide.
She ducks into a alleyway, and he just is
A
not
dick.
bothered by this,
Yeah.
and finds her, and is like, "Hey, you're not like those other girls who are obsessed with fame, are you?"
Mhm. Like,
And-
you're not gonna do a comedy act, are you?
And she's like, "No, of course not," and just kind of tells him to leave her alone.
Yeah.
She runs away. She says, "Get a better outfit." Which is maybe my favorite of her, like, insults towards his clothing choices.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And
Very
we-
straight toward to the point.
Yeah, she leaves, and we
Yes.
see this very weird, like, close-up on him smiling.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
strange. And then there's a commercial. And when we come back to the commercial break, we see some girls doing a comedy routine,
Uh-huh.
which isn't funny.
Well, okay. Can we please talk about the joke they tell?
Okay, sure.
One girl is like, she's describing how she went to the grocery store,
Uh-huh.
and she was asking where something is.
Where bread is.
Where the bread is. And she pulls out a pair of panties,
Mm-hmm.
and then says, "They showed me this because when they said under there, I said underwear." And, like, okay, here's the thing about this joke. It's out of order.
What? How do you mean?
Like, she
should have pulled
She's-
out the underwear after saying underwear?
yes. She basically says the punchline and then has to go back and explain what the punchline means.
I see.
It's very strange.
I haven't encountered much prop comedy in the wild myself, so I don't know how it tends to work.
Yeah.
I know the Gallagher hits a watermelon with a hammer,
Great.
and people like it,
Uh-huh.
and Carrot Top.
Yeah, he exists.
Yeah, but yeah. And then we see, they move on to the next round, though.
Uh-huh.
They get a little stamp.
They all get a little
Mikan
stamp.
gives them a little stamp on their hands, like they're going to a fucking Chuck E. Cheese. And we see Naru and
Mhm.
Umino's performance. They're singing the Sailor Moon theme
Right.
again. To no music, I don't think.
To no music.
Umino's back in his outfit,
Uh-huh.
and they move on to the next round. I have a feeling everybody moves on to the next round.
Yeah, we don't see
Uh,
everyone, but, you know,
Yeah,
we can
they
assume.
They get a little stamp. I love that the stamp is also on like a little hammer that Mikan has.
Yeah.
It's on a little mallet, and she just
Uh-huh.
boop, just taps their hands. And the Mikan talks about how they're going to move on to the next round and do a big performance, and they're all going to be famous.
Right. So at this point, they are still at the caravan. They are,
Yes.
like, performing to the crowd that was watching. I guess it's the same day.
I guess the timing is weird in this episode.
Yeah.
Because, like, we see that crowd,
Uh-huh.
and then we cut to school with Usagi, where people are talking about the Cinderella caravan.
Right.
And then we immediately cut back to the same crowd.
Uh-huh.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But then we get this shot of Mikan laughing sinisterly.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not Mikan, obviously. It's
Right.
fake Mikan. And then we see Usagi at school. We
Mhm.
cut to Usagi at school. Presumably this is like the next day.
I guess this is the next day, yes.
She enters class, and Miss Haruna is not there.
No, all the desks have been stacked up on one side of the room.
Yes.
So she has to go to the other door.
The two comedy girls are doing their performance.
Uh-huh. They're doing a different joke, I think?
Yes.
I don't remember
I forget
that
what
one.
the prop and joke is for this. Naru is signing autographs to nobody. She has signed, I believe, 18 autographs.
I think it was
remember.
like 80.
Maybe. I remember it had an 8 in there.
Yeah, I think she had
Um,
signed like 80 autographs.
Umino is handing out streamers for some reason.
Yeah.
And
Usagi enters the classroom and
Yes.
is like, what the fuck is happening?
yes, because it is time for class.
It's time
But
for
nobody is doing class things.
class. No.
And also, Miss Haruna is just not here in
Yeah.
in this entire scene for some reason. I don't know
Yeah.
where she is.
Naru, even though Naru had been signing autographs, she announces that it's time to do an autograph signing.
Does she? I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. They throw some streamers.
Yeah.
And then they cut to outside. There's Umino and Naru are singing on like a raised sort of platform outside.
Yes.
And Usagi and Luna are sitting on a bench in the distance, and they're talking about, hey, this is fucking weird, right?
Yeah. And to be clear, this is all still, I think, on, like, the school campus.
Yes. They're all still in uniform and everything.
Uh-huh.
And I think, this is just, like, I think this is just during lunch.
Yeah.
And, like, basically everybody is just acting like they're already famous.
Right.
Luna and Usagi suspect
something is afoot.
Something is afoot, specifically the Cinderella caravan.
Uh-huh.
And Usagi outright says, like, we could have been in danger if we did actually go to the Cinderella caravan. And Luna's like, yeah, thank you.
And then she immediately says, but I guess I could be mad at you because you ruined my chance of stardom.
Yes. So Usagi and Luna go to the Cinderella caravan performance.
Right.
Which is not at the caravan anymore. They are moved into some sort of theater.
Yes.
Like a live theater.
We see, like, Mikan and a smaller section of the audience from earlier sort of preparing backstage.
Yes. And we see that there's no audience. Like,
right.
Usagi even comments on the fact that there's no one outside this building.
No.
Like, parked outside or anything.
Yeah. Before that, we do see, like, they start performing. We see, like, sort of a ghostly, like, blank-faced audience.
Yes.
In the theater.
But
that
we
Usagi doesn't see.
Yes. We do see that the disco ball in the,
Yeah, there's a disco ball hanging from the ceiling of this, like, auditorium.
For some reason. The disco ball emits more subliminal ultrasonic waves that...
I guess project these fake audience members.
Yes, or at least make the people,
right.
the performers, hallucinate the audience.
Yeah, because again, Usagi doesn't see them.
Yes. And they all start performing at once.
Yeah.
And just... Mikan is the only one watching them, and Mikan uses like a brooch.
Yeah, she has like a badge on her chest that she sort of touches, and it starts absorbing the energy from the people on stage.
Again, the stamps on the backs of their hands start glowing.
Right, the energy is coming from those stamps, I guess.
But I'm still not clear what energy, like, why did she have to wait till this moment?
The energy of perform. I don't know.
And we of course see Jadeite absorbing the energy, collecting it in his grasping hand.
Right.
And then Usagi and Luna open the door. And they see no audience, and they see a bunch of people performing to no one. The cop does a one-hand handstand. There's a clown.
There's a clown. Mikan's agent does what he calls a triple axel and just sort of vaults off screen.
Then fake Mikan spins her head all the way around, Morga style.
Her face has become the face of the monster, which is this kind of green, glassy, like...
I again would say toothpaste colored.
Yeah.
And
Usagi is scared and runs away to the bathroom to cry and sort of cower.
And Luna's like, no, you gotta transform, you gotta do superhero shit. Kid, come on. And Usagi transforms. Reluctantly.
Yes.
She's very scared.
Returns to the theater.
Yes. We see the performers on stage start to collapse.
Yeah.
As their energy is being drained.
Surprisingly, Umino, Melvin, is the last to collapse.
Yeah.
I guess he has the most energy.
He has the most energy for performance.
Yeah.
Because he's performing constantly.
Yeah.
A lie. I had a good Melvin insult in there somewhere, probably, but I couldn't think of it in time.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
They can't all be winners.
No.
But the process stops. For some reason, the disco ball stops, and that concerns fake Mikan. And Sailor Moon bursts in.
What does she say?
She says, "You evil fiend! How dare you place fake glass slippers on the hearts of young girls who dream of becoming Cinderella? I'm Sailor Moon, and in the name of the moon, you'll be punished." More Cinderella stuff. More Cinderella. Also, you don't put glass slippers on hearts. You put them on feet.
Yeah, I guess, the monster is made of glass.
Yes, yeah. Again, like, the monster is, like, tied to the themes of the episode.
I guess.
Like, the bat monster.
Right, sure.
Previously. And then Mikan sheds her disguise completely. She's fully glass monster now.
Yeah.
And starts shooting the glass webbing out of her mouth.
She chases Usagi sort of around the auditorium. She catches up to Usagi in, the pit. No, that's not what it's called.
I wanted to say bleachers in my notes, but I know that's wrong.
There's a word for that.
The seats, the theater seating,
I used to know this word.
Yeah.
The Pit is where the orchestra performs.
Yeah, we were both theater kids, right?
Yeah.
We're failing our audience and ourselves. Luna has seemed to have vanished in all the seating.
Yeah. Fake Makan, Glass Monster, catches up to Usagi in the seating and just starts shooting, like, I guess liquid glass at her?
Yes. This looks different from how it affected Makan earlier.
Yeah, because it, like, completely encases Usagi.
Yes, it's like a cocoon now.
Yeah.
And, like, she literally is like, I can't breathe, as it starts to cover her face.
Yeah, Usagi is completely encased in glass, and we think it's over for her, but then a rose appears.
A very sharp, stiff rose.
Strikes her, like, hand, breaks the glass, and causes the rest of it to crack and fall apart.
Which, if that is glass, Usagi should have been in some trouble there.
Yeah, listen. She's magic.
Cheeseman.
And we see
Tuxedo Mask up on the balcony.
We see Tuxedo Mask. He doesn't give a speech in this episode.
He doesn't really, He's just like, now you're the star of the show, Sailor Moon.
And leaves.
Yeah. And Sailor Moon's like, thanks.
Which is maybe the most my work here is done, but you didn't do anything thing from Tuxedo Mask so far.
Except he did do something.
I guess he did.
He did help.
You're right. He did free her.
He did literally save Usagi's life. She would have suffocated.
Yeah. The Glass Monster decides that she needs to kill Tuxedo Mask.
Yes, Tuxedo Mask is now the more sort of bigger target for her.
She jumps after him. And Luna is like, now's your chance. Throw your tiara.
Yeah, Luna's here, by the way. She jumps up on a chair. We found her.
And this is maybe the most gruesome monster death to me.
Okay.
Because Usagi throws her tiara, she does Moon Tiara action. Her tiara impales itself in the monster's back.
Yes.
And she, like, completely falls apart.
Yes.
And there's something, her falling apart.
She shatters like glass.
Right. Her falling apart isn't necessarily graphic, but the way the tiara hits her feels very...
Yes. It's visceral.
Yeah.
I would say. It's like, it feels like it's like sticks in her back.
Yeah.
And you can kind of feel it. Like, I think the sound sort of stops for a second.
Yeah. The monster falls apart. We see the badge that she was gathering the energy into fall from her.
Yes, I believe it shatters too.
Yeah,
and
the
then the disco ball shatters.
also shatters, and the people on stage wake up and are like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, they don't remember anything that's happened since they got hypnotized, basically. Yeah. We also see a cut to Makan in her bathtub,
waking up and
like sitting
being
up,
confused.
Yes, the fiberglass webbing around her is gone. And then we cut to the denouement, and we see it's in Usagi's room. Usagi and Luna are sort of talking about the event, and Luna's like, "Well, now you see, nothing good happens when you get too obsessed." And Usagi's like, yeah. And Luna's like, no! Fucking think about what you've done! Act sorry! And then Usagi she immediately stands up and puts her hand on the wall and lowers her head like the monk, or like she made Luna do.
And the episode ends.
I do want to, real quick, before we talk about our final thoughts on these episodes, I want to talk about the next time on.
Right, yes. So Usagi is talking about how she has become friends with this genius girl.
Yes, who we see a clip of, and she's a short-haired, blue-haired girl.
Yeah.
Who we have seen before because she's in the open.
And Luna is like, I feel something weird off this girl. And Usagi is like, oh, but I think she could help me learn, like, to be better at school. And yeah, so...
and then the title of the episode, Is the Girl Genius a Demon? The Brainwashing Cram School of Horror.
Okay, good.
So we're getting more Cram School.
Yes. We will get more, just in general, we will get more Cram School in the future.
Good. Maybe we'll collectively learn what it is.
Yeah.
As we go through it. But I'm very excited for that, because now we're getting into the shit.
I am very excited that I completely had forgotten how long it takes before the show introduces any of the other main characters.
Did you just have to stop yourself from saying the word filler?
Yeah, because, filler has...
Yeah, let's talk about filler. No, this is important. Like, it's an anime podcast. We need to talk about the idea of filler.
So in anime, there are actually two definitions of what filler is. Often, when people say filler, you think, oh, this is just an episode that doesn't really have much to do with the main plot. And I think that is what it is typically used for, but the other definition is anything that isn't in the manga.
Oh, really?
For anime that is an adaptation of a manga.
Okay.
And a lot of these episodes were in the manga, actually.
Okay.
But some of them, like, I believe that the episode with Yusuke was not in the manga at all.
Okay, huh.
And also, I just want to say that I only use the word filler because there's not a better word. I think all of these episodes are good, except for the fat shaming one.
Yeah.
And I think they're, like, there's something interesting to me, and I'm just gonna go on sort of a tangent here.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's something interesting to me about the pacing of this early section of the show. Because, so in modern anime, most modern anime is like 12 to 24 episodes long. You don't really get shows that are this same, like, this sort of... The first season of this show is 52 episodes. And that leads to some interesting pacing because, like, we can have, like, 7 episodes before we introduce another main character. And I think that does a good job of, like, establishing to us who Usagi is, who Luna is, who, like, the supporting characters are.
Right.
Because if we started out, if, like, in the second episode they introduced Ami Mizuno, they say her name in the next time on. If they introduced Ami in, like, the second episode, I don't think we would get as much time with, like, Naru and Umino and Usagi's parents and Shingo.
Less time with Umino would be good.
It would be good. But it's interesting to me. I don't know that it's better, but it's a different take.
Yes, it's not necessarily worse.
Right.
Is what is more your point.
Yeah.
I agree. I talked about comparisons to, like, Steven Universe.
Right.
In terms of pacing. And, like, Steven Universe also has this, like, people talk about filler all the time with Steven Universe. Which is basically just anything that doesn't have to do directly with, like, gem stuff.
Right.
And the thing about the early seasons of Steven Universe is that, like, it is, like, a slow build to, like, heavy plot shit.
Yes.
But that's because they're setting up, like, this is how gem shit works. And this is how Steven interacts with gem shit by being a hybrid of gem and human.
Right. And they're also escalating from a point. Like, they're not... If you started out and it was immediately like fucking Ocean Gem,
right? Yeah,
then that would be bad.
That wouldn't
awful. Be great pacing.
Yes, and it gives you a lot a lot of time to get to know the characters, which is like very important. Like people like the thing with Steven Universe is it's not plot driven; it's character driven.
Right,
and like it seems to be the case for Sailor Moon.
Yeah,
at least from what I've seen so far.
I think it's fair to say that this show is more character-driven than plot-driven. I think later seasons are maybe a bit more plot-driven, but they still have a lot of episodes that are just, like, the characters hanging out and weird stuff happening.
That's good. Because I think it's also important to, like, I think that's a good usage of the episodic format.
Yeah.
Because, like, in a movie, you don't get that shit.
No.
You know? Like, there's not enough time to just sit down with the characters and just kind of hang out.
Right.
But, like, I really like that shit in episodic media, or episodic or serialized media.
Right.
Because it's nice to have a break sometimes, you know?
Yeah. We're gonna get another big, like, gap of filler episodes after we meet the next 2 main characters that I think also does a very good job of, like, setting up their personalities. We can talk about that when we get to it, but this happens a lot in the show, is we get, like, major plot beat happens, and then we sort of get a bit to sit with that, and I think that's good. Yeah,
I look forward to, like, seeing how the show handles that directly, because so far I've only seen, like, I guess I have seen it in the sense of, like, the major plot beat that I've seen so far is the pilot episode.
We also got the episode where, like, Usagi meets Jadeite.
Yes, that was an escalation, and so yeah, I'm excited to see Ami and the other one that I've forgotten the name of, but I'll learn it.
Before we leave, I just want to get, like, what are your general thoughts on these groups of episodes? I think we've kind of covered it, but just in case there's anything else
I think I like these 3 episodes more than I like the previous 3.
Yeah.
I remember liking the first 2 of the previous 3 okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe I can't remember much of them off the top of my head now. Like, I can't remember exactly what my feelings were, so I think maybe the worst thing I could say about them is that they weren't super memorable to me.
And also one of them was the fat shaming one.
Yes. But the like these 3 all felt really good and, like, affected me more, I think. The Chanela episode was fantastic because it made me really like Luna.
Yeah.
As a character. Way more so than any of the other previous episodes.
Right.
Especially including the fat shaming. And then the Yusuke Amade episode is really just interesting to me.
Yeah, that one is interesting to me because it's like, it's not really about Usagi. She's just there to sort of facilitate this story between Yusuke and Akiko.
Yes. But we still also nonetheless get elements of Usagi's personality.
Yeah, like we've talked about how it's about, like, adulthood and growing up.
She wants to be grown up.
Yeah.
I feel like most of these episodes don't really feel like they don't have time to explore the concepts that they want to, it feels like sometimes. Like, they didn't get to really... Usagi doesn't have any arc about growing up in that episode.
Not really.
She doesn't have much of an arc about, like... I mean, the arc in the pet episode is nothing. Like, it's just pets.
Yeah.
What was the last episode?
I mean,
we just talked about it.
The pet episode kind of has an arc in that Shingo learns to like Luna.
Yes. He doesn't learn to like Luna, he is told to like Luna by a celebrity.
That's true. The last episode was the acting one. The celebrity one.
Yes. And yeah, there's not really an arc there. We don't even get like much of a resolution to Usagi and Naru's fight.
No, not really.
So it sometimes feels like maybe there's not enough room to breathe in these episodes for the themes they want to talk about to breathe. Mm-hmm. I feel like I may like the idea of some of the episodes more so than I like the execution. That was definitely true of the fat shaming episode, obviously.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of it, and it's a shame that they didn't. We're just going to talk about that episode every episode of the podcast from now on, I guess. Maybe. It was just recent, so now it's our biggest, like, bad one. So, like, it's a good point of comparison for us now. But I feel like the pacing could maybe be better. Yeah. Or the plot structure of an individual episode could maybe be better. Mm-hmm. But I am enjoying it. It is, like, fun. Mm-hmm. And we'll see how well it, like, strings together themes and stuff when it gets more into its ongoing plot stuff.
The pacing thing could also be an issue of the fact that this show is so episodic. Yeah. Like, again, a lot of modern anime will have episodes end in ways that immediately go into the next episode.
Right, and we don't get that here at all.
We don't get that here at all. We wrap up the plot of an episode within the episode. I think there might be a couple of two-parters later on, but aside from that, it's mostly just we open the episode, establish the conflict, and once the episode is over, that conflict is gone.
Right. Whether or not it really got resolved. Yeah. In the case of, like, Naru and Usagi's fight. Right. I think maybe the thing is I like the beginnings of the episodes more so than I tend to like the endings. Although I do genuinely like the action sequences as well. Yeah. I do wonder if the show loses something from the long transformation sequences and the long Moon Tiara actions. Yeah. It wouldn't be much. It would be like 2 minutes. Right. If you cut both of those.
Even that, it would be like 1 minute, I think.
Yeah. Maybe it could just use a little more room to breathe. Maybe. I think it's my biggest complaint with the show so far. But besides that, I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun, and I'm not, like, deeply invested, but I'm intrigued. Okay. And I want to get into it more. Yeah. So I guess that's it. You can find me at FryLordZarek on Twitter.
You can find me at Lorena27 on Twitter.
And you can find us both at late_school.
And thank you to Kevin MacLeod for use of his song Semi-Funk.
The moonlight is a messenger of love.
That's very good, thank you.
Can I say how hard it was to resist trying to shoehorn in a no papa joke when you said Papa Haydn?
Great, cool.